gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and
Vegas, what's going on? Welcome to the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Very happy to have you joining us as we'll be talking pro wrestling for the next 2 hours. And boy, are we going to have fun doing it. What a night at AEW Full Gear for the most part. A lot of crazy stuff happening there in the Prudential Center as we see a new TNT champion, Daniel Garcia, and a very, very, shall we say, chaotic end to the evening. But we are going to be getting into all of that with you. And of course, CM Punk. Get ready, guys. A little possible somewhere down the road face off with Roman Reigns. We'll see what happens with War Games. But we are jam-packed today, and we got to get right into it. But I do want to tell everybody about our guests coming up. We have in hour number 2, good friend here in Las Vegas, Brett Raymer, of course, was one of the co-hosts of Tanked for 15 seasons on that show. He's going to be joining us, and he's a big pro wrestling guy. So we'll look forward to having Brett. Of course, he's got those 2 great restaurants, Stallone's Italian Eatery. Oh, man, great stuff. And we're going to have Brett on the show. And joining us a little bit later, Phil Stamper and Stu Myrick, our regulars. Phil from the Wrestling Revolver and Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling down there in Austin, Texas. And we got a great interview coming up here for you as we're going to hear from the guys that successfully defended their AEW World Tag Team Championships last night. Sorry, Zay Kassidy, Marq, Quen, the team known as Private Party. We got to speak with them earlier this week, and we're just going to dive right into this because we got a lot to cover today. So let's hear from our good friends, the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Private Party. All right, everybody, and we are on the Marq Hoke Show, and I got to tell you, I feel like the velvet rope has opened. I have been let into the house. This is going to be terrific. Marq, Quen, and Isiah Kassidy, Private Party, the AEW World Tag Team Champions are in the house.
We are here.
How's it going, everybody? Marq, you doing all right there?
Yeah, I'm blessed on this end. I like that.
And Isaiah's got lunch ready to roll, so I'm trying not to take too long for him. But
hey, we in your house. We in your house. We take as much time as you want. You let us know. We in your house. It's your rules. Whatever you want, we got you.
Oh man,
my lunch can wait, bro. My lunch can wait. Trust me, my lunch can wait.
Mi casa de su casa. That's how this works for me. So
okay.
But very happy to have you guys on the show. For fans that maybe casual fans and are just starting to maybe get into AEW, Isiah, I'll start with you. Where did you guys meet up, and how did you guys come up with the Private Party tag team? Because you've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, so we met up at a school named House of Glory back in Brooklyn, New York. Our both hometowns, and I remember I was 14, turning 15 years old when I went to the school, and I remember I had a Jeff Hardy T-shirt on, and mind you, I was super nervous. You know, kid from high school. Everybody in the school was a lot older than me, and I remember Quen just navigated towards me. He was like, "Hey, I like your shirt." I'm like, "Oh, thank you, I appreciate it." And then he was like, "Who's your favorite wrestler?" And I'm like, "Oh, this guy right here." Like, "Oh, that's great. That's because that's my favorite wrestler." So we both kind of bonded off of Jeff Hardy. And then years as I progressed in wrestling training, we started doing like a lot of drills together. And long behold, everybody knew that whenever there's a wrestling training drill to do, it was always me and Quen, doing it together. And I remember Quen one time said, "Oh yeah, this is a private party." And that's how the tag team name was born.
Wow, that's a cool story. Mark, what got you to walk into that school?
There was a ring at the time. I kid you not. What was I doing? I was backyarding in a park, and then someone just said, "Hey, Amazing Red has a school open." And I was just sitting. I was just like, "Wait, Amazing Red from TNA?" And it's like, "Yeah." So once I seen it, I went to the school, and I met one of the head trainers, Brian Excel, there.
Mm.
And he just saw me staring at it, and then he said, "Go ahead, touch it."
Oh, that was it.
And then I looked I looked at him, and like I'm saying, I was like this quote in the moment. I was like, "You sure?" like it was something crazy. like it was something crazy, and I'm just like, "You sure?" And he said, "Yeah." So I touched the top rope, and I pulled it, and it was tight. And that was it. That was the moment. I said, "This is where I got to be at."
Oh, that's awesome. And of course, you guys built this tag team together, but it is interesting when you're on the indies of trying to hold a team together like that, because we see so many times that teams break up and come together, and promoters put different guys together all over the place. How did you two manage to keep yourselves together through that independent journey without breaking things up even back then? Quen, what do you say about that?
I would say, first off, that's wild. Because I would say we must be lucky, grateful. Because I was like, I didn't even know on the indies they do that. Because if they're like, "Oh, we're gonna team you up with someone else," and Isaiah's on the show, I'm like, hell, you are. What?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's
crazy.
For me. That's crazy. But then again, there was that one show that actually booked him in a 4-way. You remember that show?
Yeah, I remember that.
There's that one show that actually booked you in that 4-way, and they just had me on the sidelines. But I was there to support, so we did it by being, I would just say, just that team to book. Like when you needed a tag team, it was Private Party, especially around here. It was like, all right, let's get Private Party. It was never. I don't think there was ever a chance where you just be like, you know what, let's have them do something else or team with someone else, because that's bonkers.
Yeah, that's legit. It's like when you get what you pay for. They know, like, okay, you want an excited tag team.
Mm-hmm.
You get Private Party. You don't get Marq Quen singles, Isiah Kassidy singles. You want a exciting tag team match, you book Private Party.
Yeah. You want to open that show with a banger?
Private Party. Yep. We're the guys.
Well, that's really cool to hear that, because like I said, I mean, being around the independent scene here, it is so hard for guys to keep it together. And it just seems like you two are just kind of natural best friends and do your thing. I mean, that chemistry is difficult to find, Zay.
Yeah, I feel like, we've been friends for like such a long time, even before we got signed. So I think that also helps us too. We didn't come into AEW not knowing each other. We knew each other way before AEW. So, that friendship carried out through years, and like it's years of, me getting to know each other. He come to my family parties, I'm go to his, he knows my family, I know his. We do events that's outside of wrestling, and like really creating that bond and making it as strong as possible. So like nothing could really tear us apart.
So the time comes where AEW comes knocking on the door, and the opportunity is arisen that you're going to be, working for All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
What was that like for you, Isiah, when you guys got the contracts? And I know there's some funny stories about the contracts, but I just want to get the feeling of what that was like when they said, when the deal was there, and you're like, oh my God, this is going to happen.
Okay, so let me break it down to you. Let me bring you all the way back to how we got to this deal. So I remember back on the indies, there was a lot of guys that were surpassing us and like just like getting signed left and right. And I'm like, man, Myrick Quen is good, if not better than these people that's getting signed. Like, when is our time gonna be? And I felt like we was grinding a lot, going to these shows, doing what it takes to, eventually be signed, but we didn't get a call. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna invest in a laptop, and I'm gonna make a 1-minute highlight video of all my matches going forward. And next thing you know, I got the laptop. I spent like a lot of money, probably like my last, to be honest, because it was a lot of money and I wasn't making a lot of money at the time. I made like a 1 minute highlight video, and I remember I tagged the Young Bucks on Twitter, and around this time, Young Bucks and FTR was beefing, right? And then I forgot who it was. I believe it was Young Bucks, and it was like, one day we'll face FTR and the world rejoice. So I kind of took that same tweet and made it to my own, and I was like, one day we'll face the Young Bucks and the world will rejoice. And then I put the 1 minute highlight video right underneath that tweet. And I'm at work while I'm doing this, right? So work goes by, I see my phone blowing up, blah, 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 blah. Next thing you know, I see Matt Jackson. He put the eyes up, and I'm like, okay, maybe there's a match. Mind you, I didn't know AEW was a thing. And this is before AEW started. This was like in 2018, December. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I didn't know AEW was a thing. You know, next thing you know, I get a DM from him. He goes, hey, we're thinking about starting up this project. Are you guys signed? And would you be interested? I'm like, what? To work with the Young Bucks? Oh, Young Bucks is also one of our favorite tag teams. I'm like, absolutely. Like, we just want to face y'all. But now you're talking about a project? Okay, say no more. We're on board. Fast forward later, we got these contracts at a House of Glory show. We actually got the real contracts at the House of Glory show. We were super happy, on cloud nine. And I remember we got to wrestle that night, and like, man, I did not care about that match at all. Like, I was so like zoned out, and I'm like, man, we just got signed. I was like,
Yeah.
Nothing else matters. And then fast forward, we did a match at Fighter Fest. It was us versus SCU versus Best Friends, and we killed it. Like, we had the crowd rocking.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently there's actually even better contracts than the one we originally offered. So the first contract we was offered, it was per appearance. You know, we get paid every time we appear on TV. And I'm like, oh, this is what everybody's contract is. And then going forward, we have that match at Fighter Fest, and it's actually a salary-based contract. Now you're getting paid every other week. And I'm like, wow, we made it. We made it. So to put all that in a bow is a very unreal experience, and I couldn't be even more thankful for it.
All right, and we are going to be back with more on the Marq Hoke Show with Private Party, the AEW World Tag Team Champions. And coming up, of course, hour number one, we welcome in Phil Myrick, or Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick. Plus, hour two, it's Brett Raymer from Tanked is going to be on the show, so we'll look forward to hearing from him as well. So stick around, a whole lot more from Private Party and the Marq Hoke Show. We'll be right back.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Greg. I'm 68 years old. Grew up in Cleveland, Ohio. Majored in business administration. I do motivational speaking in addition to substitute teaching. Part of the reason for my motivational speaking is I kind of feel like I have a calling or giving back to the younger generation. You know, the golden rule is do unto others, you'd have them do unto you. My wife, Wanda, is a senior flight attendant. She's been flying for over 30 years. We do laugh quite a bit. I think most adults will start realizing that they don't recall things as quickly as they used to, or they don't remember things as vividly as they once did. I've been taking Prevagen for about 3 years now. People say to me periodically, man, you got a memory like an elephant. It's really, really helped me tremendously.
Prevagen, healthier brain, better life. Greg Fraley is a paid testimonialist and real Prevagen user, based on a clinical study of subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way, with integrity, experience, and authenticity. We're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
1015 FM KDAWN. This is the Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Marq Hoke.
All right, everybody, let's get back to it. It is the best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, on the Odyssey app. And for those of you out there that want to stream the show, we're on X at Marq Hoke Show, Facebook, The Marq Hoke Show, and YouTube, The Marq Hoke Show. And let's continue to hear from the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Private Party. Yeah, and you guys took off from there. And, you know, Mark, what was it like now taking that next step up when you guys arrived in AEW and started wrestling with some of the top wrestlers on the planet?
That's when, so I would say on the indies, we were more the guys that's just like, you know, this is how we want the match to go. So when we took the next step up, we were learning more. We were under the learning tree of everybody at this time. So every time we came out there, we were learning like, okay, you got to face the hard cam. Okay, you got to do this because it would make more sense. Or you have to do this and this. So we was more learning the next step. And that's when I think, okay, you know what? It's pretty good, like, you know, sitting back and let other people take charge rather than, you know, like you saying, oh, this. It was a pretty good experience.
So you get that win in the AEW tag team tournament against the Bucks. And I remember that night and just
a win.
Well, in the tournament.
Win.
Okay, sorry.
Win.
No, I thought this was the win, but
win.
Sure. That's appropriate. That is appropriate.
All right. So you get the win, and but then of course you didn't advance in the tournament after that. I remember.
He just had.
Well, hang on, I'm getting there.
Why do you have to bring
because
that up?
I'm telling the story. I'm telling.
All right, go ahead. Let him go. Let him go.
Let me go. I got this. Right. But I remember everybody was just going crazy when you beat the Bucks, and then after the next round, everybody's like, "Well, you know, what's Private Party going to do from here?" And that's when things got very interesting for you guys, and it went kind of up and down. And you know, Mark, you got hurt, and just it made for a very long road for you guys to get to the point where you're at now. And I'm curious, what were you thinking in the time between now and then, where, you know, Mark, you were down, Isiah, you were wrestling some great matches, and then Mark, you were coming back and wrestling some great matches. And to finally get to that point where, you know, now people are again looking at us as wanting to become the AEW World Tag Team Champions. It was a crazy ride, man.
Oh yeah, I had tore my pec, but I would say, do you remember, like, you know, like how factions and stuff? Do you remember the HFO?
Yeah.
What do you thought of HFO?
I enjoyed it. I mean, I thought you guys did I thought it was solid.
Be honest, it's okay.
You know, but it was up and down. It was up and down.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, so from our perspectives, the HFO, when it first started, it was us and Matt, it was a high. Then later on it became a down. And I just felt like that one is just like, and it was nothing that it was nobody's fault. You couldn't blame anything. It's just something was not clicking. And then next thing you know, since that wasn't clicking, my muscle stopped clicking and tore my pec. So I went from being like, you know what, we're gonna figure this out, to like, well, damn, I have to figure something out now, because now I'm out. And that time I was just really thinking, because I was like, all I did was wrestle. Like I never really had a job that paid good and all this other stuff. So now I'm just like, without wrestling, what I'm gonna do? And depression kicked in. Yeah, it was just like, I would say for me, it was completely down, especially if you want to go from the Young Bucks, and we was like, oh, private parties this, private parties this, then it's just like, ugh, not them again. To now back up to like, hell yeah, private party. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say something that Isiah says. It's like roller coasters, up, down, up, down.
Yeah, and Isiah, you went through a very interesting time, because people were starting, while Marq was out, people were starting to see you as somebody, maybe he should be doing singles, and the pressure to split up a little bit, and and I mean the talk was there, and Marq, it, but you're both
Marq,
awesome.
Marq, where you at?
Where am I at? I'm in Las Vegas. I'll see you soon.
Oh, all right. Keep that same energy.
Yeah, it was.
I love you guys, man. Come on. But Isiah, that was a rough time for you too. I'm sure, with your partner out and trying to figure out your place in AEW.
Yeah, it was super scary, because, like I said, only thing I knew was professional wrestling, not professional, sorry, tag team wrestling, and I literally got out of training straight into a tag team. So for all these years, 6 years, 7 years, I've been doing tag team stuff. So, and then when you kind of like threw me out into the deep ocean, it's like, okay, can I sink or will I swim? And thankfully, I had guys like Matt Hardy and Ethan Page kind of hold my hand and walk me through this single journey. And during that time, I really felt like I found out who I was. I gained my confidence, and I just became more and more of myself on camera, and obviously turned it up to a bit of a notch. And then, I mean, to wrap it up, I feel like that time, even though it was a very bad time for a private party, but it was something that I needed, because I felt like I didn't have an identity, and I didn't have my confidence as a singles wrestler, as a wrestler in general, because I was always relying on Quen, you know what I mean, on the private party. But that time, that period, it gave me an identity, and it made me know, okay, this is who I am, and this is what we're gonna go doing forward. And on top of that, no offense, Quen, but during that time, that was probably the most fun I ever had in wrestling. Yeah, I said it. I said it. I said it.
So,
I said it. I said it.
Okay.
I said, and the reason why I say it was the most time is the most fun I had was because we was literally doing stuff on Dark, me, Ethan, and Matt, and we was literally just doing kind of like whatever you wanted to do. Where like we created a storyline, and I started doing the moaning stuff, and then going at Matt Hardy's house and jumping off his roof, and it was just like really fun, because we really had no like limits, and it was like, okay, just make the best out of this whole situation, and that we did, and we all came up with ideas, and see what stuck, and some ideas stuck, and then the rest was history.
Well, so then everything starts coming back together. For
Wait,
you guys.
can I say something?
Oh, absolutely.
I would say
absolutely.
it was no offense taken.
Okay.
But to say the most fun time you had, look over what?
Hey, listen, look.
Yeah, I got a question with that too.
No. I promise. This is great. This is great. This is the pinnacle of my career. But I'm saying, as far as like no championships involved, as far as just being out there and just having fun. If you was there, you would have understood. I promise.
Oh no, I know. Hey, guess what?
What?
You had fun. I had fun.
So it matters. That's a team right there. That's a tag
there
team.
you
right
go.
There. Yeah, this Marq guy wants. This Marq is trying to make us fight.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, Mark.
He's
Chill
not trying
out.
to make a fight.
Yo, Mark, chill out.
I'm trying to do the exact opposite. You guys are
Yo,
causing
Mark,
trouble,
chill.
man.
Chill, Mark,
Yeah.
chill.
Trying to make a fight. Wait.
It's interesting that people hear the story about Private Party, that it was because it was, I just felt like, wow, these guys are so good and they just can't seem to catch a break. And, until recently.
Yeah.
And, you guys head into Wrestle Dream, an unbelievable match with the Bucks. And I know I was on the edge of my seat for it, saying, oh, man, they're going to get this. They're going to get the titles tonight. And unfortunately it didn't happen, but you follow it up. And I mean, the fans were just going nuts for you guys. And you got that magic back, and it led to putting those belts on your waist.
On our shoulders.
Well, I mean, it's not on the. I mean, it could be.
Okay, whichever we want. You want it on the waist, Mark? You want it around the waist? I could put it around the waist for you.
Well, it's better on camera like that. But
Sure. Sure.
But say, what was it like that night? Tell us your viewpoint when you won the World Tag Team titles.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, Quen.
Oh wait, which one? Wrestle Dream or when we won the titles? Because
when you won the titles.
Because I would say Wrestle Dream was just like that was a great moment too. That was the moment. That was the moment that set the ladder to this moment.
Yeah.
And I you know what? I'm gonna answer this question from Wrestle Dream. You know what? I'm good.
Okay.
So Wrestle Dream, we in the middle of the match, and we're in there with the Young Bucks, and it's always like, you know what, we're gonna knock it out the park. But the difference was the fact that the crowd was chanting Private Party. Normally it's like Private Party, let's go Young Bucks. But it was just like Private Party, and then in my head I was just like thinking to myself, I was like, this is our time. We're gonna win it tonight. At this point, I'm just like, there's nothing stopping us. But unfortunately, that night it didn't happen, which created the Private Party movement.
Yeah,
created the buzz of like, you know what, these guys we wasn't even in the title picture. Let's see what happens when they're actually like in the title picture. So that night, to hear like people created a path for us, people created this destiny for us. It's way too feel good of a moment, because you know what, like you're saying, one of these guys gonna catch a break. We didn't know.
Did not know.
It started at Wrestle Dream, and then to head to Dynamite, knowing like this is gonna be our moment. Then to hear the eruption of hearing that 1, 2, 3. It's professional wrestling.
That is for sure.
That's what that is.
It's magic. That was crazy moment, man. Crazy moment.
When did it stink in that you finally did it? I mean, there had to be a moment at some point you guys were sitting around after you won the titles and just kind of looked at each other and said, this happened. Here it is. We did it.
Yeah, when we got to the back and we talking to everybody and then like talking to Tony Khan and like him congratulating us and taking pictures with everybody and everybody saying congrats, well deserved, much earned. I feel like that's when it hit. Like, wow, we're really a part of history now. We're really tag team champions for a national televised company, man. It's so unreal to actually say that for 5 years after all the trials and tribulations, we finally did it. We overcame everything, and we finally got to this point where, we're on the 101.5 show with Marq holding up these AEW World Tag Team Championships.
And there you go. There's more to that interview, by the way. We got that posted up on YouTube, so you want to check that out. It's at the Marq Hoke Show on YouTube. And I'm going to bring the boys in here as we've got Phil Stamper from our good friends at the Wrestling Revolver and Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Gentlemen, welcome in.
Thank you. It'd probably help if I actually had the right glasses on so I could see everything.
Tell you, that was
I haven't got to the point of switching glasses yet, so
I've got to get glasses sometime. I'm actually pretty good.
Especially if you're driving in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I wish everybody else could see because I got hit again on Wednesday.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Did you hit by Verstappen? No, I'm just kidding.
No. No, I did not. I got
By
hit
the
by
way,
I got hit by a California driver. Even worse.
all
But
right.
but thoughts, guys. I know you got to see Phil. You got to see most of the interview, and Stu, you got to see the tail end of that interview at Private Party. What a great story those guys are, because I felt like they were really in kind of no man's land in AEW for a long time. The injuries and everything else held them back, and they just did what they need to do at Wrestle Dream, and all of a sudden they were in the World Tag Team titles. And you could tell they were really gracious about it. Phil, what are your thoughts on Private Party? Of course, they retained last night.
I mean, it's cool to see them because I saw them when they got their start, and to watch how they've risen up has been really just an awesome thing to experience and see them grow as people and as talent. I think this is just the start for them, though. I think this is where they start to solidify a path. This isn't like, okay, we've reached the pinnacle and it's that's it. It's not like this is the start of another rise because they've reached a point of success.
Yeah, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more. Got to see them a few times when they would come for Wrestle Circus here in Austin, and two great guys. I mean, fantastic individuals, and it's so good to they got through all the trials and tribulations and the injuries and everything, and now they're on top of the tag team division in AEW. And I really hope that they, like Phil said, that they start the rise to become one of those tag teams that we mentioned up top, with the Bucks, with FTR, with all the different tag teams. I hope that this is the start of their ascension to that rarefied air, if you will.
Yeah, they're in a very interesting spot in AEW, and especially right now with the Outrunners kind of breathing down their necks a little bit, and people are really liking the Outrunners, among other teams. I mean, you still got the Bucks who are they're a little hiatus, FTR, House Black. It looks like the Acclaim's going to be splitting up, so we may not have to worry about them anymore in the tag team division. But there's probably going to be a temptation by AEW to put the belts, say, on the Outrunners or somebody else. And I just don't know if that would be the right move. These guys have worked so hard, and they're great to watch. And you got to hear from that interview, man. They're fun too. They're a lot of fun. I know when I was watching, running the interview, and Phil, I saw you smiling all the time there because they, mostly because they were going after me, but it was
that's always fun.
Oh, I had a great time with them. I mean, they're terrific guys. I mean, would be amazing representatives for AEW for the long term. And, I just hope that Tony doesn't kind of say, well, the new toy is not as shiny as it was in a couple of months, and they make a change, Stu.
Well, and that's the thing. Tony Khan, God love him, there are times he has a tendency to go, play with the new shiny toy. Yes, the Outrunners, they've gotten over big time. I hope that they do let Private Party have a decent run as tag champs.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying don't put the titles on the Outrunners. I mean, it'd be fun. They're a fun tag team, but let's it feels like we're having kind of a reset on the tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
And I say this with all the love in the world for Matt and Nick. I'm okay with the Bucks being gone for a bit. It's one of those things where, we can't miss you unless you leave. So let's let them sit at home for a bit. Let's miss them. I think I'm still of the thought the heel run was mediocre at best. I think it was forced a little bit. So let's let them sit at home. Let's reset this division. You mentioned FTR. You mentioned the Kings of the Black Throne, of course, House of Black. You've got Private Party, of course. You got the Outrunners. You've got some tag, Dustin and Sammy. They're the current Ring of Honor tag team champions. Why not put them in that picture? It feels like, again, just feels like a little bit of a reset for this tag team division that at one time was probably the best in pro wrestling.
Phil, your thoughts?
In another way, though, I'm kind of thinking of it as, isn't it great that AEW has established that they have a stronger tag division and that it's now realistic where multiple different teams could convincingly carry the championship, and that the Bucks aren't here, that, we're not talking about them. We're not talking about some other folks who were no longer even in the company, that it's not even FTR. Like, you said FTR in reference to like some of the great quality teams that are generally at AEW, but when we talked about the title picture, we didn't really mention them. And it's sort of like, so you have this broad base of some strong teams there right now. And I think that speaks a lot to where Private Party is right now. And I think it speaks to the strength of AEW and what they've been able to do in their tag division.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to see where this goes. And they're loaded down there, guys. When we know that there's a ton of talent in AEW, and we'll see how long Private Party gets to hang on. Well, we're not going to hang on to the break anymore. But I do want to, till we get to the break here, but I want to just remind everybody, if you want to bet on pro wrestling, Survivor Series is coming up, as is TNA Turning Point. You can go to betonline.ag, click on the Mark Hoke Show banner or markhokeshow.com and click on the betonline.ag banner and use the code BOL1000 and you can get a 50% matching bonus up to $1,000. So you can get $500 right there if you want to throw the money on, and you can bet on pro wrestling. It'll be a great time, and have a little fun with your friends, enjoy yourselves, and maybe get some extra beer money. See, tag team beer money. There you go.
Hey,
never mind. Thanks. Thanks, Stu. I appreciate that.
I was a big fan of Bobby Roode and James Storm.
Yeah, there we go. All right. So betonline.ag. I'll shut up. Let's go to break. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, and coming up in hour number 2, we're gonna get to talk a little wrestling nostalgia with one of Las Vegas's own, Brett Raymer from Tanked, who is a huge pro wrestling guy, as I found out. So stick around, everybody. We've got a whole lot more on the Mark Hoke Show, the best in pro wrestling on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas, and we will be right back.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards, because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Place a first touchdown scorer wager today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Nevada only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. MGMResorts.com/GameSense.
Hi, it's David Masters. Join me and my brother Alan for Advice Line, 10 to midnight, Monday through Friday, right here on 101.5 FM. That's Advice Line, America's radio counseling program. If you've got problems, we've got your answers. Monday through Friday, 10 to midnight.
Looking for high-quality custom screen printing in Las Vegas? Look no further than Off-Grid Creations. Need a few custom t-shirts for a local event, band merchandise, or family reunion? We've got you covered. Large order of uniforms for your staff, sports team, or club? We can handle that too. Our experienced team will work closely with you throughout the entire process from design consultation to final product. Call us at 661-300-1115. That's 661-300-1115 or visit our website at off-gridcreations.com. Get a free consultation today.
Whoa, what just happened?
You were in a car accident. You should call Sam and Crash.
No way, I don't want any salmon.
Well, then how about Ed Beardstein?
The guy with the beard from the hockey game?
You might as well call Knock Me.
His name is Nacho.
What are you talking about? You should call Get the Win.
Get the Win? GetTheWin.com.
101.5 FM KDAWN. You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, The Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Now, here again is Marq Hoke.
And we return to the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. Streaming on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Get that app now, and now you'll bring Christmas cheer early. Promise you, you'll love it. Download that app today, AUDACY. And of course, we're also streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X. And I've got me two compadres, Phil Stamper and Stu Myrick, on with us right now. And we're going to be hopefully having Brett Raymer from Tanked joining us in hour number 2. A lot happening over the past few days in pro wrestling, guys. But let's kind of stick to full gear here a little bit. And Stu, you talked about a reset in the tag division. I almost felt like there was somewhat of a reset last night, almost top to bottom on AEW last night. We had Daniel Garcia winning a title. Takeshita beats Ricochet, and it looks like we're going to be really putting a lot into Takeshita at this point. Kyle Fletcher gets the win. Jay White beats Hangman Adam Page again. Now, there were in Lashley getting a win over Strickland. I mean, this is a very big turnaround from where we were just a couple of months ago.
I think this reset has been a couple months churning. They've got it. There's still quite a few people that are out with injury. So it's who's available, who's up. Like Bobby, you mentioned Bobby Lashley beating Swerve Strickland. That one was a little bit of a, we could see that. They want to build up the Hurt Syndicate. They want to build it up to a big time heel faction. So of course you're going to have Lashley get over on that one. The Daniel Garcia title win, I think it was time. I think that's what we're going to see this with what is now known as the Elite. You got the Bucks at home. It would not shock me if Jack Perry may sit at home for a little bit. So now the only one left is Okada with that Continental title. You got the Continental Classic starting, I think you said this Wednesday on Dynamite. It would not shock me if he drops that title. And then we do a reset on the Elite where, I've said it over and over. People want to cheer Okada. The heel turn of Okada, maybe he's having fun with it. Nobody else is. Honestly. I mean, it's cute. Yeah, he says the B word a couple times. You don't center a whole heel turn around a word. I'm sorry. It's not good. So lay into what the fans want. Let him be a face. Let him be the multiple-time IWGP heavyweight champion, one of the greatest wrestlers ever to wrestle for New Japan. Let him be that. And I think we are seeing a reset. And John Moxley did the interview with New York Post talking about it. And I think this storyline is the kind of this is kind of pushing that reset forward.
Phil, it looks like the gang in the writer's room has said we need to make some changes. You might want to unmute yourself here, Phil. Here, I'll do it.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So we kind of talked about this last week where, I mean, Jon Moxley's whole gimmick is AEW needs to be different. Let's make it different. Yes, with a particular tone. But I think the overarching story for AEW is they needed a little bit of a reset. They needed to refocus. It's interesting because, you know, everybody is so quick because they did this with WWE as AEW was coming on, where it's like, look at the empty crowd spaces. And then AEW in the most recent couple of years where it's like, look at where their empty spaces are. And you've heard AEW start talking about, okay, we need to reposition ourselves for different size venues that are going to fit our audience. And then, you know, we need to rebuild ourselves in a certain way. And so it's like, I feel like they're finally listening. I feel like they're finally hearing it. I was happy with a lot of the build that they had for Full Gear. And I think that showed up in the building. You know, they started the day, I think, at something like 7,800, 8,000 tickets sold, and they ramped that up pretty quickly through even just the day. So, you know, they filled that building. It looked good on camera. Like I'm really happy with the success that they've made for themselves. And I feel like the whole thing is they're refocusing on a good new direction, new path. And I really, 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 really hope it's going to work out.
Yeah, and you know, one of the things that happened last night, we're going to dig into a little bit more with Brett when he comes in, but the whole thing that happened with the Boom Man, AJ coming in, and you know, people dug that whole thing, and I got to say that AJ was out there promoting the hell out of this thing. He really was. I mean, it turned out to be all right. Phil, it did.
I'm looking at Stu though. Stu didn't agree.
Look, no. I mean, that's fine. I have no idea who these guys are. I'm sorry. It's now. Look, okay. I am 56 years old. I don't do TikTok. I don't live on the internet. I watch TV the old-fashioned way on a TV. I mean, I'm watching NFL Network right now. Patrick Mahomes getting ready for his game. You know, so I had no clue who these guys are, but apparently they're really popular. All right, that's fine. I mean, it was fine. And yes, he was promoting it. I think he was on Jimmy Fallon, and he was, you know, which that's what AEW needs. You know, that's, you know, WWE has kind of cornered the market on those, you know, appearances on like Fallon and Kimmel and you know, the other shows. AEW needs to have their own little, they need to sneak in there a little bit. This is a way to do it. So good on them. It was like one of those things where it's like, okay, sure. It was QT Marshall loses to a guy from Costco. All right. But I'm glad the fans enjoyed it.
Yeah, they did. They did. They were really over last night. I was shocked, but it was, and I think it was cool that it was on the pre-show. So it didn't break up the flow of, you know, the more serious matches that were coming up. But
which honestly is where Shirakawa and Mariah May should have been. Kind of honestly, that was a waste of pay-per-view time.
Yeah,
I'll agree with that.
I don't disagree with that. I also felt a little like, oh, okay.
They could even done that on Dynamite.
Yeah, that was more of a Dynamite segment.
So
I would agree with that. But yeah, it was fascinating. A fascinating night last night. One thing, you know, we've only got a couple seconds left, so I probably shouldn't get too deep into it. But I think it was once again a very long night for everybody, and I think that they need to tighten up some of these storylines a little bit and make it a little more exclusive getting on these pay-per-views, because man, it's 12 matches. You start at 3:30 and it ended around 9:00 last night here.
Pacific.
Pacific. So if you're on the East Coast, you're up till midnight. That's a long time. But
I mean, yeah, I went straight from the pay-per-view. I went to the F1 race in Las Vegas. Congratulations, George Russell.
Yeah.
So
thanks,
you know.
guys. Yeah. Thank you, F1. Anyway, but I want to say hi before we hit the break here real quick. Bionic Scoops in the chat box says, Mark. I say Scoop. And Justin Donahue in the chat box says, hello, gentlemen. Well, hello right back at you, sir. Thanks for tuning into the Mark Hoke Show. We do
I don't know
appreciate
who he's talking to. Gentlemen, really?
I know, Justin. Good dude. Good dude.
Yeah, that's you.
Fair enough. All right. So let's take a break, and we come back. We're just waiting for Brett Raymer to get to the studio, and we'll have him on. And we're going to be talking more full gear. We'll talk a little bit about CM Punk. Oh, my God. He and Roman Reigns. Are you kidding me? We're going to go from fighting over a bracelet to fighting over a manager. Should be fun. Stick around there. We got a whole lot more on the Marq Hoke Show. We'll be right back. Want more of the Marq Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Marq Hoke Show, like us on Facebook at The Marq Hoke Show, and visit MarqHokeShow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Marq Hoke Show, and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Marq Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.
All right, gentlemen, this is Emmett Smith on behalf of The Pen, and I've got the perfect play. Run straight to your doctor's office for a life-changing catch. Because when prostate cancer is caught early, it's up to 99% treatable, and one blood test might be all it takes. And now through November, The Pen is donating to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for select purchases. Talk about a great play.
From September 1st to November 30th, The Pen is donating 40 cents to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for Depend Shield Guards Real Fit products purchased in the U.S. up to a maximum of $300,000 void in Mississippi.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1 strawberry Fanta. Okay, could we maybe switch up the sound effect, please? Because I'm losing it. Wow, no, not that. Any size soft drink for just $1? Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. Price and participation may vary. A la carte only. Not valid in a combo. Exclusions apply.
At El Monte RV in Las Vegas, we're clearing out our best pre-owned RVs. Coachman, Winnebago, Gulfstream, and more, with no payments until 2025. Drive home today and start your adventure without worrying about payments until 2025. Plus, we offer great financing for up to 240 months, with all RVs Road Bear certified for peace of mind. Contact us at elmontervsales.com to find out more.
You're pregnant, and no matter what you do, no matter what you try, you can't stop using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco. But no matter how lost you are, how far along you are, it's not too late. There's always hope, and there are many safe places that can help you stop using. In Nevada, pregnant women are given the highest priority for substance use treatment. Low-cost treatment options may be available so you and your baby can get healthy now. If you or someone you love is pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant and using alcohol, drugs, or tobacco, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 to find help today. SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org also has resources for healthcare providers, friends, and family. If you want to help someone who's pregnant and using, visit SoberMomsHealthyBabies.org or call 211 today. Sponsored by the Nevada Division of Public and Behavioral Health and in cooperation with the Nevada Broadcasters Association and this station.
For the past 3 seasons of Gone South, we've covered one story per season. Now, Gone South is back for a 4th season. But this time, we're doing things a little differently. In Gone South Season 4, we'll be bringing you new stories every week with no end in sight. Listen to and follow Gone South, an Odyssey original podcast, on the free Odyssey app and wherever you get your podcasts.
KMXB HD3 Henderson, K268CS Las Vegas. Always live on the free Odyssey app. 1015 FM KDAWN.
The top 15 cabinet picks are announced. I'm Ann Carrick, Fox News.
The Trump transition.
President-elect Donald Trump announcing more cabinet picks. An update from Fox's Madeline Rivera.
President-elect Trump rounded out the top 15 positions within his cabinet with this announcement last night. He chose former White House aide Brooke Rollins to lead the Department of Agriculture. In a post on X, Rollins wrote, in part, "It will be the honor of my life to fight for America's farmers and our nation's agricultural communities. This is big stuff for a small-town AG girl from Glen Rose, Texas." As a refresher, some of Trump's other high-profile nominees include Senator Marco Rubio for Secretary of State, veteran and former Fox News host Pete Hegseth for Defense Secretary, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. for Health and Human Services, Scott Bessent for Treasury Secretary, and former Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi for AG.
Attention turns now to Capitol Hill, where the appropriate Senate committees will review the backgrounds of the candidates. Snow and heavy rain for parts of the country as Thanksgiving winter storms could impact holiday travel plans. Fox Chief Meteorologist Rick Reichmuth.
Storm that's going to bring our Monday into Tuesday troubles. Not a massive storm. It's not going to cause huge problems. It's really a storm that's more the Wednesday, Thursday storm that is going to be a stronger storm and maybe bring some pretty big snow across parts of the Northeast. And that's really a Thursday. We're talking about a Thursday washout for so many people. So make sure you got all your shopping done and you are settled inside your house, wherever you need to get to go to by Thursday morning. Big snow Thursday across the interior sections of the Northeast, and then a big lake effect snow event breaks out. First one really of the year.
The Fox Weather Center forecasts Black Friday to be the most disruptive day for travel, especially along the East Coast. And longtime game show host Chuck Woolery has died at age 83. America's listening to Fox News.
Stay on top of the latest forecast with America's Weather Team in the palm of your hands.
Here's the latest from America's Weather Center.
It's Fox weather updates throughout your busy day, every day.
That heat's going to be out there for one more day.
Temperatures being 30 degrees above average.
Put the power of over 100 meteorologists and the worldwide resources of Fox in your hands with the Fox Weather Podcast. Precise, personal, powerful. Subscribe and listen now at foxnewspodcasts.com. Connect to Fox News Audio on the Fox News app. Listen to hear your favorite hosts like Brian Kilmeade, Jimmy Fallon, and Guy Benson standing up for what's right, live and via podcast. Just click listen, then swipe right and hear the latest news updates on your time. And scroll down to hear the latest podcasts from Fox News. And it's even easier to listen in the car with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Get programming alerts and notifications. Fox News Audio is on the Fox News app. The voices America trusts. Download it now.
Dr. Dahlia.
We want to enjoy the outdoors. I love camping, but unfortunately, there could be animals that feel threatened or may have mental health issues or might want to just kill.
Weeknights at 8 on 101.5 FM KDAWN.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Las Vegas. This is the Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Going bell to bell with the best in professional wrestling news, entertainment, and lots of Sin City surprises from inside the squared circle. Now, let's get to all the exciting pro wrestling action and bring on the host. Here is Marq Hoke.
All right, everybody, let's fire up hour number 2 of the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. It is the talk of Las Vegas. Bringing the best, man. That's what we do. Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver and Maryland Championship Wrestling. He's all over the place.
I am the gentleman in the room.
Not buying it.
I concur with that.
I mean, according to Private Party, you're the Mark, and I guess that's the Stu. So I'm the gentleman.
Okay, I'm down. I guess that's all right. People don't need to call me a gentleman. Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling in Austin, Texas. Awesome show, by the way. If you haven't heard it, you need to go listen to it. Please, I'm telling you, you're going to have a blast, Stu. So, yeah.
By the way, Phil, nice Wrestling Revolver Texas Championship.
Thank you.
That's a fantastic title belt.
Yeah, we are.
I assume that means you guys are coming to the Lone Star State a little more often.
Yeah, we have some plans.
I like it.
So things will be coming. But yeah, we put up the picture of a brand new Revolver Texas Championship. When Sammy messaged me, there's times when I'm like, I know Sammy's really happy with something, and like he was giddy. and then he sent the pictures, and I was like, this is really cool.
It's fantastic. It really is. And I'm looking forward to seeing Wrestling Revolver down here. Might have to come to a show or two.
There you go.
I need to get Wrestling Revolver in Las Vegas. That's what I need. We gotta talk. You, me, and Sammy need to discuss this.
I mean, I think there are some options that are open. And it's not like there's like a big event coming in the spring that we might be looking at. I'm just saying,
there's places to do it. But now I have to say we were scheduled to have Brett Raymer from Tanked on the show. Brett ended up at the hospital last night. I just got texted by his girlfriend. So he went to the ER yesterday, and the poor guy's got some kidney stones that are racking him up. He's got one that's almost 5 millimeters. Ouch. So, yeah, exactly. As all us men cringe. So we will reschedule Brett. So I do apologize to everybody about that. But obviously, his girlfriend asked if I should wake him up, by the way. Should I wake him up? Like, no. We'll let Brett rest, but it'll be fun having Brett on the show. We'll make sure we get that rescheduled for you. By the way, let's see. Also, welcome Scott Jones in. Hello, gents. Gents. That's plural. That's a little better.
Yeah. All right, sure.
That's a little better. And by the way, Scoop said that is a pretty belty.
It is nice. It's very nice, and it's not the usual. So, like when companies do a Texas Heavyweight Championship, it's usually the old school back in world class.
World class, yeah,
that style. So this is different, and I really like it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Phil Stamper putting it up in the background.
Chair, of course, is now in the way, so you can't like.
Yeah, brown strap. I like it.
Yeah, beautiful belt. So make sure you guys check out the Wrestling Revolver. It's going to be a great time. Apparently, in the Lone Star State. I tell you what, I think let's back off on Full Gear a little bit, because we pretty much with Private Party and all that, we were hammering AEW for a while. Let's go to what's going on in Survivor Series and what got everybody talking on Friday night. I do a little piece for a couple of our stations for Saturday morning, and I had it written as, we still don't have the partner. Who's the fifth man for the original Bloodline? And then all of a sudden, my Twitter's blowing up about 3 minutes before I'm getting ready to record the piece. And lo and behold, CM Punk and Paul Heyman return. Heyman brings Punk out, introduces him as the fifth man. So now the original Bloodline has CM Punk on their side. The Bloodline 2.0 has Bronson Reed on their side. But everybody is going absolutely nuts about this, fellas, that CM Punk is there. And, we're teasing a little tension between Roman and Punk. Phil, do you like the choice?
In many respects, I like the presentation of the choice. I don't know if I like the choice, because I thought maybe because we wouldn't have a repeat of what happened at last year's WrestleMania, where it felt like here you have Cody Rhodes wanting the championship. The Rock's now involved. Roman's the champion, but CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, they're in the picture. Seth Rollins is in the picture. It felt like it was getting too convoluted a little bit, and it was like almost too much up top. And then they whittled down to what happened, and some of that was negated by Punk had gotten injured. Drew's going in one direction. Okay, now Seth is separated out. So they worked it down through to a point where I think it ended up being good. But now I'm a little worried if that's where Punk is, and they're going to tease this rivalry with Roman. Well, where does that put The Rock? Is instead of The Rock Roman that they were maybe going to talk about, now is it going to be Rock Cody again? And we're going to be focused on that, which I'm not opposed, but it's sort of like the shuffle right now feels a little bit big. But in general terms, the Heyman Punk connection is kind of cool to see again. I mean, I am not always the biggest fan of CM Punk, but that connection always made me feel excited. Always made me feel like, oh, these two together are trouble. So I'm curious what happens next. but I have like a paused optimism about it.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. But one thing that, there's been rumors that The Rock has been saying that he's not going to be able to make it to WrestleMania this year. He's going to be tied up. So I wouldn't complain about Roman and Punk as a standalone match. I think that would be all right. Because now all of a sudden you're freeing up, we still don't know who Gunther would be. I mean, you were thinking kind of Gunther Punk, but I think I'd probably rather see Roman and Punk. I think that would be a lot of fun. You get Cody in possibly a 3-way with Orton and Kevin Owens. There's a lot of fun that could be had with this, Stu.
Yeah. It's adding Punk to the OG bloodline. Yeah, that makes it interesting. It really does. There are a few questions that I have in my mind. So first of all, you add Bronson Reed to Bloodline 2.0. Now, unless I'm mistaken, I remember seeing reports months ago that WWE had signed Hikuleo from New Japan Pro Wrestling.
That is correct.
Hikuleo is the brother of Tama Tonga Tongaloa. Where is he? You signed him. Why isn't he in this? It seems like the perfect opportunity. So instead of really wide, you get really tall.
Yeah.
so I'm wondering where Hikuleo is. So there's that. I will say this. So when Paul Heyman first came out, he's not wearing the usual tie and everything. He was wearing a shirt, just a regular collar, shirt. And of course, my mind goes so weird. So I'm looking at Paul Heyman dressed like part of the Bloodline 2.0. So I'm thinking, okay, they're going to find a way to turn him, I guess. But no, they didn't. As for what happens as they head to WrestleMania, I think we are still, it's November 24th, so December, January, February, March, April. So we are 5 months away from WrestleMania. There's still a lot of time. And the rumors about The Rock may or may not be there. Look, let's take a breath. Yes, The Rock is incredibly busy, Moana 2 and all the other, whatever. Let's let it play out a little bit. Wrestling fans are the most passionate. But they can also be the most reactionary. Sometimes
I agree.
Too reactionary. So let's let it play out. I like the idea of Cody, Kevin, and Randy triple threat at Mania. If you believe the talk around the campfire, we're going to get Kevin and KO at Saturday night's main event coming up in 3 weeks. So, I say let's play it out. Let's see what happens with Survivor Series, and then kind of just go from there. But yeah, I'm interested in this. Sure.
I think it's funny you mentioned about fans being reactionary, and I think everybody was thinking, we're going to get Roman and The Rock. It's time to do it. It's time to make this happen. And now all of a sudden, 10 minutes on SmackDown has changed everybody's perspective about this. I mean, they're like, you saw the showdown, and I was, because I caught it on Twitter and excuse me. And all of a sudden everybody's like, oh yeah, we've got to get this match. We got to get this match. We got to get this match. And everybody's like, what happened to The Rock? Didn't everybody want The Rock there? And it was funny that all of a sudden people just changed their minds like that.
And that's the way it's just, again, it's just, I don't know. Wrestling fans want it to happen now. They want everything happening now. And it's like, fellas, let's hey, long-term storytelling. That is the foundation of pro wrestling.
Sure is.
Let it be. You don't have to have it today.
And I think, and I'm going to take a shot in the dark when you say that. It's based off of comments that you see online, which is only a small representation of the entire wrestling watching audience. So, Because I'm not gonna lie, I was one of those people who were like, and I don't know if you said this, I had a little brief power outage, so I just came back. So I don't know if you mentioned, like, the WWE has also signed Lance Anawahi, who is Samu's son. So he's I'm trying to remember the connection of Samu and Afa. He was also trained with Afa, trained with Samu. So it's like, was he going to be the fifth member? That was brought up a lot too.
Right. I mentioned Hikuleo.
Okay.
So in the same vein, where's Lance Anoa'i? Where's Hikuleo?
Yeah, so and like they're there, but they're not there. You're like, oh, Lance Anoa'i or CM Punk. So I understand that they're already there, they're already established, already present. There's probably a plan to bring them in at some point, or if not, well, we also have to worry about what you're talking about, the next generation of our talent, and making sure they're ready to go. So when we do showcase them, oh wow, we can build them up, put them in other spots, put them in that spot. Like they're coming. Everybody breathe.
I do think, and if you don't mind me saying, I do think that they've got to be really careful with this bloodline story, because if you start bringing in every person that is related to this group and keep piling it on and piling it on and piling it on, and you do it too fast, it's got NWO, Wolfpack, and whatever else, white, green, pink, and purple written all over it if they don't slow this down. And you don't want to do that. I mean, you got to be really careful bringing them in. Plus, you don't want to bring in people when they're not ready.
Right.
These guys, Lance and Hikuleo have got to get used to the WWE style a little bit. So it's going to take some time, and just throwing them out there right now, I think would be a huge mistake. And I think that it convolutes the storyline.
I get that. And I totally get that. I'm just, Hikuleo is not exactly a rookie. Lance Anoa'i is not exactly a rookie. So you sign. I mean, when did they get signed? It's been what, 3-4 months at least.
Yeah, Lance was just like a month or two ago. Hikuleo's been a while though.
Lance, but yeah, Hikuleo. I mean, I want to say he was back in the summer. So it's like, okay, you signed him. I mean, all right, put him in the NXT for a little bit. Then let him get some seasoning. Let him get into the WWE style.
See, and there's a tough spot for him too, because people are going to have pressure on him to bring him up right to the main roster because of who he is and what's going on right now. Yeah. And maybe he's not ready to do it. And if you throw him out there and he doesn't look good, you hurt everybody in that. You hurt the whole team.
That's true. The other thing is what you just said, Mark, about the WWE style. I would put it out there that the style has changed a little bit. Whether that's under Triple H or whatever, they've loosened it a little bit. It's not the free for all, but they're letting the wrestlers do a few things that they didn't do before. There are subtle differences. It's a little more hard hitting. It's a little more. So getting used to the style, I don't think would be as big of a jump now as it was even 2-3 years ago.
Phil, what do you think on that?
I would agree to a lot of that. I think because I remember when NXT started, and some of the people they were bringing in, it's like, well, some of the people they're bringing in are already great wrestlers. They should already be on the main roster. So that little bit of that, they should be there. There's no, don't wait, let's do it now. But there is that element of this is a different production. Having done some work behind the scenes with a couple different television brands and then independent wrestling, everybody sort of has a different approach to production. So even at least understanding, how do their cues work? How do they prefer things to be lit and recorded? And even the ability to record and edit some of your own stuff is one of the functional features of NXT. And so having that opportunity to learn that, I think, is going to be very valuable for your future success. The Rock just did an interview probably now about a month ago where he was talking about how he went to Vince to talk about wanting a pay raise. And Vince is like, why do you think you deserve it? And as he tried to justify, Vince is like, you need to work with every other department that's on the road with you. And you need to then come back to me after a month and tell me if you think you still deserve it. And he did that. And he's like, he said it didn't take him a month. It took him like a week or two. And he went back. He's like, I get it. You're right. He's like, what do you think you're going to, I see it now. I see all these parts of the company work. I see all these things work to put together this show. I understand it now. So I understand where my spot is. I'm good with the money you offer to me. And then Vince goes, well, how much money do you think you're going to make this year? And he said, well, 1.5, but 1 million's my guarantee, but I always typically do some rollover on merch and stuff. So about 1.5, he's like, you're going to make 15 this year because now you understand it. And now you know how it all comes together and works. And that he did make 15 million that year. So it is showing and telling, I think, of future superstars. It isn't just about how well you are a wrestler in the ring. That's very valuable to have. Of course, you need to have that. But to understand the other functions that happen inside of the world of professional wrestling to make it a better product and for you to showcase yourself better in that product.
Yeah, I would definitely give that advice to people that are out there, especially on the Indies Network right now, where you still have a chance to learn it. And one thing that I always did when I managed businesses was I didn't just sit in my office. I ran a movie theater and I had to learn production, but I went out in the concession stand. I had been an usher before. I worked every job that you could possibly do in there. So I understood when I was running the show, this is what's really going on here. This is what's going on here. This is how this affects that. And, that's important knowledge, especially in today's world. Like I tried to get my daughter to try to teach her to do a little bit of video editing. Not that I'm the greatest at it at all, but at least show her how to do it because it's a skill. And some things like that, sound editing, video editing are going to be huge as we continue to move forward with technology. So yeah, that's a very good point. But yeah, a lot of crazy stuff going on, and but good for The Rock. I'm glad he made the 15 mil. What a sweetheart! I'll tell you what. All right, we're gonna take another break, and I do want to remind everybody I've got a great friend over at Off Grid Creations. I think like Pro Wrestling Revolver or Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, maybe they need some new merch. Well, they could reach out to my friend Mike at Off Grid Creations. You can get a free brand consultation right now. He doesn't just say, "Oh, give me your logo and print something." He wants to help you develop your brand as well. They do embroidery, screen printing, promotional items, all sorts of terrific stuff. And no matter where you are, they will get it done for you. You can give him a call at 661-300-1115, 661-300-1115. Once again, 661-300-1115 at off-gridcreations.com. And they will take care of you. You're a wrestler. You need some gear done, all sorts of terrific stuff. He did the shirts, that great sign you can see behind me. Check them out. We would certainly appreciate it. All right. And when we come back, we'll revisit Full Gear a little bit and some interesting going-ons at GCW this week. Are you kidding me? Everybody's showing up in GCW. I mean, I may have to go to GCW. I don't know. No, Phil doesn't like the idea. Yeah, I could get seriously hurt. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back.
Personal injury law has been the same for a long time. Big egos, greed, and sleazy schemes. Big and loud doesn't always mean right. And the conventional mold doesn't define success. Goodbye, false quick buck promises. We've had enough. Welcome to Sam and Ash, the new standard for personal injury law, where things are done the right way. With integrity, experience, and authenticity, we're champions for the underdog. Life happens, and when you need help, you deserve a team without hidden agendas. A team that delivers real support and results. When you have both, your whole world can change. So if you've been hurt in a crash, call Sam and Ash, 702-303-0333. Sam and Ash, because you deserve what's right.
Good morning, Doctor. Doctor? Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years. When I have customers come in and ask for something for memory, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed I could think more clearly. Memory was so much better. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
In a clinical study, Prevagen was shown to improve memory in subgroups of individuals who were cognitively normal or mildly impaired. Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
1015 FM KDAWN.
This is the Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Here again, your host, Marq Hoke.
And we return to the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 1015 FM, the talk of Las Vegas. I've got Stu Myrick from Sports Guys Talking Wrestling and Phil Stamper from the Wrestling Revolver. I almost said it wrong. Might have gotten Sammy Callahan steel chair to the head on that one. You can follow Stu at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRCK. Phil is at Trust and Phil, which is the exact opposite of what you should do, but you know what? He is the president of wrestling. Tell me the lie. Tell me the lie,
What
Phil.
lie?
Go ahead.
What lie?
What lie?
I have a luscious long hair and the bronze body of a Greek god. Okay, I'm not tan.
By the way, Pat McAfee's on the NFL Network.
Okay.
Oh,
he's at Lions Colts.
Good for him. He picked that
Colts
Indiana
Lions.
game so well yesterday.
Man.
By the way, Phil, have you recovered from all that craziness yesterday? Or Stu? Sorry.
Hey,
all the
my
football?
Longhorns took care of business. And now it is rivalry week. After 13 years,
they're done dodging
the
you.
Aggies.
Phil, you're pointing a finger in the air.
I just so while we've been on, I had a friend message me because he's watching the show, and I joined in partway through the private party interview, and he goes, "Why did he call you Phil Myers?" I was like, "What?" So apparently earlier in the show when you were talking,
wow,
Phil and Stu will be on the show later. You called me Phil Myers and then corrected yourself. Where did Myers come from?
Well,
were you going
Myrick.
Phil Myrick and caught it halfway?
I guess I blended you. I woke up at 3 this morning, guys.
We're blended.
We are now one entity, Stu.
That's
wow. Oh, God, it's like a composite co-host. Yikes. Before we get into some of the wrestling stuff, by the way, you guys asked for something, and I wanted to show this to you, and it also helps out my good friend Bionic Scoop in the chat box, because last year around this time of the season, someone made their in-ring debut, and we'll see if it ever happens again, but I wanted to put a couple pictures up and show you his work. See if you can recognize this new wrestling superstar right here.
Nice.
There he is. Santa Hoke coming out at an FSW card last year. Check it out. And here it is, guys. I'm laying the clothesline on the Grinch. There it is. I have photographic proof that it happened. So you wanted it. You got it. There it is. How was my technique field? Did I look okay?
You stepped through a little bit more, but you're okay.
Yeah, you're right.
The Grinch did all the work.
Actually, you know, it's funny. It's funny you said that because actually MK said, just put your arm out. Just put your arm out. I'll run into it. I was like, okay, that's good.
I mean, you know, you know Brett the Threat. You know Brett Hankins. Like I'm just saying, maybe he should beat the Grinch, and like maybe he beats up Santa Claus this year. I'm just.
Oh no. Brett will twist me like a pretzel.
See,
I could probably hang on for about 15 seconds because I did wrestle, so I may be able to not get totally destroyed. That in a like unreasonable time
like
frame.
Crick in your back and hip, like he just pops it right out. It'll be fine.
Oh man, if he break that little tension in my neck, I'd be thrilled to death.
See,
that'd
perfect.
be all right. Yeah. So I did not throw a clothesline like JBL, but JBL was throwing clotheslines at GCW and pipe bombs from Ricky Starks. Kurt Angle shows up. I'll start on Ricky. Ricky was pretty vocal about him not doing anything right now in AEW, and there's word out there that he hasn't even talked to Tony forever. What do you think about that, Stu, with Ricky Starks just hanging out, man?
You know, that's, you know, is what's funny is I just saw Ricky. So we had the Rhodes Wrestling Association inaugural event this past Thursday, Texas Fall Fury. Ricky was there in the crowd. Saw Ricky. I've seen, you know, Ricky lives here in Austin, and so he shows up at different shows and such. Ricky's always vocal. It's I mean, that's part of who Ricky is.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he went off does not surprise me in the least. He is very you know, he believes in himself, and for good reason.
Agreed.
You know, he is a fantastic talent. I've known him for a long time, and so it doesn't surprise me. I'm not sure. I'm not even that surprised that he hasn't talked to Tony. I think, you know, there are the reports that he may be WWE bound. I'll believe it when I see it, but it's not too far-fetched.
Yeah. It was one heck of a tangent he put out there last night, Phil, that's for sure.
I mean, but then he was also backstage at AEW last night.
Yeah.
So it isn't like he's like banned from the building.
And you know, and you gotta wonder. I'll tell you, I wouldn't mind seeing him pop up against Daniel Garcia
Mhm.
and getting a TNT battle. I mean, that would be a pretty cool way to bring him back. You know, let two of the AEW young guns really, you know, tear each other apart. I think that'd be a fun feud.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think he and Daniel would have great chemistry in the ring. I would love to see that. And that would be, you're right, that would be a fantastic way to bring Ricky back into, you know, the whole, the fold, as you will.
And of course, also at GCW last night, Kurt Angle shows up. JBL comes out, and it's another clothesline. What is this man doing? I've got Gerald Briscoe's number. I had him on the show, and I may have to ask if we can get JBL on the show because he's got to tell somebody what the heck he's doing. But this is crazy with him popping up TNA and all these independents, just laying somebody out and walking out the door. I mean, Phil, this is a very interesting maneuver on JBL's part.
Mm-hmm. There's a part of me that's like, okay, he's trying to make his presence known, but to what extent? Where is it going to end up? Where is it going to go at the end of the day? I think he's trying to establish something that we all don't see yet.
Yeah, I think that's pretty close to it. It is odd that he just, you know, shows up at name your favorite show, clotheslines, one or two folks, and then then bolts. It's kind of like, okay, what is this leading to?
Right.
And I, like I said earlier, the whole let's have patience, but this has been going on for a few months now. He was, of course, last time I saw him, he was in Las Vegas for Cauliflower Alley Club. He was there to give the report on Black Bart, which, pray all of you pray for him. He's having serious health issues. But JBL, I think he's trying to. He's feeling like, hey, let's see what kind of trouble I can cause.
No, I think he's thinking about making a comeback. I don't know if you saw on X that he had posted a picture of himself it looked like he was in fantastic shape and said he was pain-free for the first time in years. Boy, I tell you, could you imagine JBL? Oh my gosh, could you imagine if he shows up to the Royal Rumble? That'd be amazing. Be fun.
That would be fun.
That would be fun. Maybe that's what this is all going to. And I want to get on the show and just ask him, are you going to be at the Royal Rumble? See what he says.
Yeah. I think we should.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with JBL coming up. Now, I did want to go back to a couple things of Full Gear real fast, as we talked about the reset and what looks like AEW is trying to do. What did you think about the night overall, though? Did you like the card? Did you like the way it was wrestled? Because there were some interesting complaints, from our grumpy friends on the internet last night. But Phil, what did you think of the card overall yesterday?
I mean, overall, like I said before, I thought they did a really good job of building interest into this event. I'm not gonna lie though, watching some of it, though, I overall was enjoyed. I had a good feeling about the company where it was at after I watched it. But I will say, I noticed from the crowd, sometimes there was a lot of silence in the crowd, and that's something you never really want. And it was like I thought the wrestlers were doing what they wanted, but the crowd wasn't quite giving the right response back. So there's still a little bit of a disconnect with reaching out to the crowd, engaging them to make that noise that I think they still need to be better at incorporating. Because that was one of my frustrations during the pandemic era was, here's WWE before they had the Thunderdome, where I remember there was some spot on Raw where everybody's down and the commentator stopped talking, and it's like, don't like, even for me, my chest was like, oh, don't be quiet. Oh, this is weird. What are you doing? They need to do more to fill in the space with some noise. There were a couple matches that I was like, if you took out this 3-minute segment, it would have been a great match. You didn't need this 3-minute filler space. I felt that happened a couple of times. There was a moment, and this is going to be bad. Sorry if I'm breaking a fourth wall. How many matches in a row need to have the almost 10 count running at 9.99999 seconds? And that happened 3 matches in a row. And it's like, okay, so maybe it's a matter of also agenting between some of the matches for certain spots to like, hey, make sure the agents are on point and make sure talent listens to the agents, which has been problematic before, and maybe that needs to be kicked in the rear a little bit more.
Stu, take us through that process a little bit, because maybe there's a lot of casual fans that don't know what we're talking about when we say that the agents need to coordinate.
So when you put a card together, you have 5, 6, 7 matches. You always tell your talent, if there is a spot, do not repeat the same spot every match, because it's the law of diminishing returns. Mm-hmm. And what Phil talked about with the 9.999 count, yeah, it's that. The other thing that and again, AEW does a fine job with pay-per-views. They always do a really good job. But sometimes their matches could do much better if you cut them down a little bit. The false finishes. There's another one. You don't need 25 false finishes in a match, because again,
there were a lot last night.
Again, law of diminishing returns. The one story I have a particular problem with is this MJF Adam Cole Roderick Strong. They have discombobulated this thing and made it too complicated to the point where, yeah, the crowd's like, why should we care? I mean, and it's not, and that's one of the frustrations I have, not just with AEW, but with the current state of pro wrestling. Again, 56 years old. I am middle-aged. I am an old school. I cheer for the baby faces. I boo the heels. You don't get that anymore. Everybody cheers for whoever they want. They don't care. The whole babyface heel thing has become so muddled to where I get the sense that the wrestlers in the ring, yeah, they're having a hard time trying to react to a crowd reaction.
Right.
Because
That's
the crowd
important.
reaction it could go 8 ways to Sunday. So I think there's a big part of that. But this MJF Adam Cole, it's like, why do I care that Roderick Strong was trying to get MJF? What does that make a difference? Again, and then on top of that, MJF been gone for 2 months filming Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, you saw some pre-tapes of him. He is, I dare say, and I like Max. I like Max. I would say right now he is probably a quarter of the, big time star heel that he was.
I would agree.
He doesn't get the reactions that he used to.
No, and this feud with Adam Cole, when it was going on before everybody got hurt, I really liked the idea. You pull him out of being the bad guy and give him an experience he's supposedly never had in his life, having a friend, getting in his head and his heart, and then ripping it to shreds to morph him into even more of an evil, nasty, cutthroat kind of guy. I loved the idea, but the problem was that when they're both done after that, Cole's already hurt, and then you bring them back and the roles flip. All of a sudden, MJF's the heel and Cole's the good guy, and it is just it has muddied the waters. And they need MJF to be on top of the card. They need him there. And right now, they have put him in a weird spot that, to be very frank, they should. If it were me, I would be walking in the room and saying, "We're done with this. We're done with this. We got to take one of our top guys in a better direction." So,
and what's with Kyle O'Reilly? What's that? I mean, why is he so upset? I mean, it's like you wanted Adam Cole to come back and be by himself, but then, yes, you lump him back in with Undisputed Kingdom, but Kyle O'Reilly has a problem with it. And again, it is so complicated. It's so hard to follow. It's like, why? I don't care. All right, get me to the next match.
Phil, how do you
I hate
feel
saying that because I like Adam and Max.
Right.
Yeah, I do too.
For all transparency, I missed like the beginning chunk of the pay-per-view itself. So I came in the middle of MJF Roderick Strong, and I was like, "Oh, it's on now? Are they later in the card than I thought we were?" Like, I thought their placement. I thought that was an odd placement, but then going through the flow of everything else, there was a lot of content. So I was like, okay, and you see this with WWE too. Yeah, you sort of randomize where sometimes things are on the card. I agree with MJF's position. At the same time, what does he have another film project coming up? Is he going back to film more with the movie? So there's a little bit too of trying to make all parties happy and trying to make it all work, and it might just not be working. Kyle O'Reilly to me feels a little bit like the man left out. And so what I sort of took away from him last night was he is now trying to mastermind something. Like when he's shouting, "Go get him, go get him, go get him." Like you should go run after him or something like that. It was like, oh, is he now trying to maybe manipulate people? So now he'll be for sure the heel bad guy. I don't know.
I would buy that, except he was telling Adam Cole, "Don't go after MJF," because
I thought he was saying go after him. Why aren't you?
On Dynamite, he told him, "Don't go. Bad things are going to happen. You need to step away from this." And I'm going, okay, why does he care? Again, I don't get it. It just, I don't know. Like I said, the other one I have, Mercedes Moné, I am so bored with her. It's take the title off her, for the love of God. I'm so bored with her. It's the same act. Allegedly, we're going to see Camille, turn on her event, or she turns on Camille, which, and again, I think Camille needs to have a bigger spotlight. Honestly, she's a fantastic talent. Don't make her. She was an insurance policy for Nick Aldis when he was NWA champion. Do not, you didn't need to just do this again with Mercedes. If you want her to take that TBS title off of her, great. Let's do it, though. I'm so bored with Mercedes Moné, and I hate saying that, but I'm bored with her.
Well, fair enough. Yeah, we can talk more about that when we come back. And we do need to get our final of the break of the show in here real quick on the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. Talk of Las Vegas. Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, not Phil Myers or Stu Stamper. I like Stu Stamper, though.
Alliteration.
That's pretty good. That reminds
me
of the Mongolian Stomper. Put you two together, and we'll take that route. Stick around, everybody. We'll
do a speechless.
Listen to the Texas Corners Bible Church every Saturday night at 7 p.m. and Sunday night at 10 p.m. on 101.5 FM.
Whoa, what just happened?
You were in a car accident. You should call Sam and crash.
No way, I don't want any salmon.
Well, then how about Ed Beardstein?
The guy with the beard from the hockey game?
You might as well call Knock Me.
His name is Nacho.
What are you talking about? You should call Get the Win.
Get the Win? GetTheWin.com.
Hi, it's Sherry Harris from LifeSource Water. Now is the best time to trade in your old-fashioned water softener for a LifeSource system. Softeners don't filter water and are a pain to maintain. Our clients love the fact that LifeSource filters and softens their water without using salt. For a limited time, LifeSource will pay your sales tax when you buy a new system. Yes, save up to $1,000 during our biggest sale of the year. Offer ends soon. Call 800-WATER-99 or visit lifesourcewater.com.
Warranty limitations apply.
All right, when it comes to getting life insurance for your family, a lot of excuses can get in the way. But ask yourself this: if something were to happen to me, who would pay the mortgage, the kids' education, and the other bills? Then forget the excuses and check out Ethos Life, the online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month, with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
It's Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Get a head start on Black Friday all month long with exclusive deals. Right now, get 25% off select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees just in time for the holidays. And get a free select tool when you buy a select battery or combo kit. So don't wait to save. Shop these deals in-store or online now, because Lowe's knows deals. Valid 11/21 through 11/27 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown, and he throws an awesome block so his teammate can score instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. Everyone knows the most exciting part of football is the score. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Place a first touchdown scorer wager today. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 years of age and older. Nevada only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. MGMResorts.com/GameSense.
101.5 FM KDAWN.
You're listening to the #1 professional wrestling radio show in Vegas, the Marq Hoke Show. The Marq Hoke Show. Now, here again is Marq Hoke.
All right, let's do this one more time. The best in pro wrestling news and entertainment on the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN 101.5 FM. The talk of Las Vegas, Phil Stamper, Stu Myrick, along with me, by the way, in the good old chat box. Our friend Coach Rosie, who is a little occupied this morning, says good morning from the tour bus. Interesting. I wonder what he's touring. Well, but good morning to you, Coach. Good to talk to you. So, but guys, it's Thanksgiving weekend. We got a lot of wrestling coming up this weekend with TNA Turning Point. We've got Survivor Series. So we're going to be busy watching some wrestling this weekend. What are you guys excited about this weekend? You know, the TNA Turning Point card with Nemeth and Edwards, Grace Slamovich. We've got the Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. That sounds like something I'd probably be in. Hardy's and Ace Austin against Rascals Kushida. Josh Alexander Macklin. We got Kazarian Santana, Moose Laredo Kid on that one. Anything out there really stand out to you on that card? Stu?
Hardy's and the Rascals sound intriguing. You know, it's that feels like the two generations facing off in the ring. You know, so I like Hardy's Rascals. I'm definitely interested in.
What do you think, Phil?
That was going to be my first pick too, but also, you know, this is the second match for Masha and Jordan, but now Masha's the champion, so I'm excited to see that. I had to look at the card really quick because I hadn't committed it to memory yet. So
I'll tell you one that I'm going to be interested to watch is Frankie Kazarian and Mike Santana. Santana is working his way to the top here, and I think it's going to be a fun match. And probably see Santana go over. Is he getting ready to challenge Nick Nemeth, or are they going to send him after Moose for that X title? But I'm really excited about the work he's doing. That's going to be a lot of fun. I just don't know about this Turkey Bowl match. Those matches, they're sometimes fun, but they drive me nuts. And Joe Hendry's stuck in there too. Well, he went from the hottest guy in the world to being a Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh well.
But then we get a no DQ Steve Macklin, Josh Alexander. Macklin is dangerous. I love these promos that he's cutting. If you all haven't seen them, these are amazing cinematic like looks at him, and is he being turned down an even darker path? Like that kind of interests me. I'm curious where they're going to develop him too. I mean, he was the top guy for a hot second, and then they had a little bit of a TNA reset, and so I want to see him get back there. And if he has to go through Josh Alexander to do it in this no DQ match, so be it. And Josh is somebody too who's amazing, completely super talented and skilled. Like he might lay waste to a Steve Macklin, and what more will that bring out of Josh Alexander?
Yeah, I agree. You got a good point there. That's going to be a blast too. And then we got Survivor Series. Are you excited about the women's match, guys? Yeah, maybe. I'm the only reason that I am really, really looking forward to it is I'm just wondering if there's going to be some Tiffany Stratton hijinks in this one. If something could happen that she may cash in Survivor Series. Otherwise, it'll be fun, I suppose.
It's fine. I like Survivor Series, but it kind of does the same thing as Crown Jewel. It puts a stop in whatever storyline you're doing because you got to do the creative for Crown Jewel and then the Survivor Series thing. And at least Survivor Series tries to work in some of the current storylines, but at the same time, it feels a little bit like, oh, we got to do this because of this. The women's Survivor Series match is going to be interesting. They taped SmackDown. That's going to air this coming Friday night. There are some things that are supposed to happen regarding the women's Survivor Series match. I'm not going to give any spoilers. But that'll be interesting. Of course, the bloodline versus the OG bloodline. That'll be interesting. Gunther and Damian Priest again. I am a huge fan of Damian Priest. Have been going all the way back to his ROH days. I'm not sure I can care about this again because we've seen it already. And it feels like Damian Priest is on a different path. So I don't know. Not to mention they've still got to fill out the card a little bit. I mean, I know
right.
There's more 2-3 matches. We got to see some more at least 2 or 3 more, right?
Oh, let's do an hour and a half War Games match. Let's just do it. Let the Bloodline just beat each other up for an hour and a half. who needs multiple matches on the card? Just 3 will do it.
Well, and the War Games
We'll
matches
see.
do take quite a bit of time. So
I would just yeah.
because you got
They
you got the entrances and everything, and then, every 3 minutes somebody else comes in. So, and you got 2 of them. So yeah, that's going to take up quite a bit of time. So I would think at least 1 or 2 more matches are going to be set.
Right.
But what are they?
Yep. And by the way, want to wish Kenny Omega all the best, who's going to be coming back January 5th in New Japan. That should be a lot of fun. And Baron Corbin winning judo tournaments down there in Tampa. Good for him, man. Way to refocus and clobber some people. So congratulations to Tom Pestock, Baron Corbin. Guys, thank you so much. Stu Myrick, of course, you can follow him at Stu Myrick, STEWMYRCK. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Phil Stamper is at Trust and Phil. Check out the Wrestling Revolver and everything else Phil's got going on too. And guys, want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving.
You as well.
You too.
Yep.
Go
And to
along
all
with Beat Aggies.
There you go. Well, thank you for joining us on the Marq Hoke Show here on KDAWN. We will see you next Sunday morning, 8 to 10. Thanks for being with us. We'll catch you next time. Have a good one, Las Vegas. Want more of the Marq Hoke Show? Follow us on Twitter at Marq Hoke Show. Like us on Facebook at The Marq Hoke Show. And visit MarkHokeShow.com to keep up with everything happening with the show. And remember to check out all of our archive shows on YouTube at The Marq Hoke Show and download our podcasts at markhokeshow.podbean.com and all your favorite podcast outlets. So join the Marq Hoke Show family today, and thanks for listening.